There was U.S. Marshals that would come in the 1800s. They would just walk into the house of women and would tell them they had to go to court. They would tell them they're under arrest. They would have them pay heavy fines. And this was, this was Nazi style stuff going on in America for being polygamous. And polygamy was crazy, but just very Nazi. There's been Nazi style stuff that America's done a long time. American government, the soldiers, the military, the FBI. We are Nazis. America is Nazi. But anyway, we've had concentration camps. There was a concentration camp in the middle of Utah, in the middle of the desert. But anyway, so we had this Nazi kind of thing going on in the 1800s where the Mormons were being persecuted by the government. And it's really weird. It's really weird. It makes you think that maybe the Mormons are God's kingdom. Maybe they are followers of Jesus and the government is Satan's government, because they went through so much trouble to come out here to Utah to arrest women and fine women and arrest the men. It's like, what? Like, who is in Washington that's like so obsessed, so horny about putting polygamists into jail? It's just really weird. Like, it's so weird because it's like, this was back in the day where you had to ride horses everywhere. And there were whorehouses in New York. There were whorehouses everywhere. There was prostitution was big in America. And you could even say there was sex slavery going on in America. I don't know. But I'm just assuming there would be, because that's just always happened. But the government was like, we got to shut down polygamy. And so for me as a Mormon, I think, well, maybe polygamy was something God wanted. And, but I don't know. It's just weird because, like, for instance, their whole reason of being like Nazis and attacking these families was like, well, because it's against the law. Okay, well, is prostitution against the law? I don't know. And then another argument, in the courts or whatever was like, well, it's abusive to women. It's like, okay, it's abusive to women. So they would go into houses and terrorize the women and put their husbands in jail, even if the women didn't want that. Like, oh, we're here to save you. You understand what I'm saying? It's like, we're here to save you women because you're being abused by polygamy. So here's a $300 fine. I'm not kidding. A $300 fine in 1800. These women had no money. And $300 was like a lifetime amount of money. Like, I don't know, $3,000, $5,000. I don't know. That's how much it was. And they were U.S. Marshals, and these people were evil, man. These are some evil people from the American government. And the American government has a history of Nazi tactics. With blacks, with the Mormons. And it's funny because they were so... It's just weird. If you read Mormon history, it's like there were judges and generals and mayors and governors who were like, we need to go kill these Mormons. And it was just very like they were Nazis, like very Nazi-like tactics. It was like, What the flip is wrong with my foot? Weird. And so I just wanted to talk about that, how I was thinking about, like, because my ancestors were polygamous, and I'm not a fan of polygamy, but it's like the U.S. government was making something bad worse, a situation that was already hard, and it's like things were horrible for the Mormons, but without the government interference, without any government goings ons. And so that's interesting that you had these evil. The American government's so evil. It's so evil, and it's always been evil. Sending, we have all of our wars where we send our young men to go die and be maimed and traumatized, and it's for nothing. Like it's there's no purpose. Like, if you really just think about World War II, if it really was Germany against the world, then all the world had to do was surround Germany and cut off their supplies for food and steel and all those things. It's almost too simple. But anyway, and these U.S. Marshals would come, and these were the devils, man. These people were serving the devil. They were like, there's just no other way to explain it, because they would ride thousands of miles. You got to realize Utah was nothing. Like, anything west of the Mississippi was like, you had California, but it just doesn't. How do you explain it? How do you explain these men coming from wherever, I guess Washington, to terrorize families? It was terrorism, and they were hunting families. These were families. They were taking men away from their women. The women would starve. The children would die, and they were already malnourished. And then they would make them, to make it even harder, they would make them go from St. George to Beaver, and that's a long way. That's a long way by car. On a paved road, it's a long ways. So long. So by wagon, it would take forever. And that was on purpose. The whole purpose of these U.S. Marshals, the evil U.S. government, was to terrorize the people. It had nothing to do with whether polygamy was bad or abusive for women or whatever. Let's say it was. Like, let's say polygamy was abusive for women, then so what you would do if you were a U.S. Marshal or you were the U.S. government is you would just send U.S. agents into the cities and say, hey, how are the women doing here? Do you need any help? Do you need to escape? And they could have had like private meetings. So what they could have done is said, hey, gone to each house and said, hey, we want to talk with you, each woman individually, force them to be alone with you, force them to talk or whatever, and let them have the choice. And then if they choose, yeah, I need to get out of here, I am being kept here, I'm a prisoner of polygamy, and then help them go somewhere safe. Okay, well, if you really thought polygamy was wrong, that's what you're doing. So you think polygamy is wrong, so your solution is to terrorize the women. What? It's like having cancer and using radiation to get rid of your cancer. It's like, we're going to kill you to get rid of your cancer. It's like, that's the way Satan's kingdom works. That's the way Satan's government works. It's like pretending to care, pretending to have an issue, but then making the lives of the people worse. So the U.S. Marshals would come, and these agents of the devil, and they're like, oh, well, we gotta stop this polygamy, because polygamy is so bad. I mean, you guys, do you realize what's gonna happen if we have polygamy? Prostitution's okay, terrorism's okay. It's okay if we kill you. It's okay if the government. It's okay if we, as the U.S. United Satan of America, the United Satan of America, if we kill you so that we can help you. It's okay that we kill you and make you die, make your children die, and it's okay if we take your money away from you and terrorize you in your house because polygamy's bad. So the women are like, well, if polygamy's bad, it's bad for the women, right? Well, so why are you terrorizing us? Total Nazis. So that's what I'm saying. It's like these evil bastards, and people don't understand the U.S. government's evil. It always has been. It's always been run by secret society type people, generational Illuminati families, whatever. And they've lied about every war. They lied about the numbers of Jews that died in Germany. They've lied about the number. I think it's like 20 million, but it's like after World War II, the number was like 3 or 4 million or whatever, and then it just kept going up and up every decade or whatever. But it's just a crazy world we live in, man.